What's going on, guys? It's your boy Beats by Ash, back at it again with another banger of a video. And today I wanted to showcase the deck that I have been enjoying the most to come out of the brand new set, Modern Horizons 3. And it just so happens to contain some of my new favorite cards, being the new 2-mana double-sided Ajani Planeswalker, and as well the format warping boy known as Amped Raptor. If you guys enjoy this video, make sure to smash the like button, turn post notifications on, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another banger. And without further ado, let's get into the goo. Alright, so here is the deck. Now, one thing you'll notice about this deck is that it's utilizing a high amount of cards from Modern Horizons 3, which makes it almost an entirely new strategy, especially for Arena. I know that Boros Aggro has kind of been around in Modern, and this is a deck that you can actually play straight from Modern, but as well in Arena, which has not always been the case in the past, especially before we had access to the fetch lands. And the cornerstone of this deck is really based off of the new cards. So we have 4 Guide of Souls, which is probably one of the best energy generators ever created, alongside Ocelot Pride and Ajani Nakatl-Pahari. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's okay. This card is broken, and that is the point. So something very interesting about this card to point out is, while we are only playing 8 total cats in the deck, which is how you transform this guy, if you have a second copy of this guy in your hand, normally you would think, okay, I have 2 copies of a legendary creature, it's a bad hand. But with Ajani, that is not the case, because the legendary rule counts as a cat dying, since he is a cat warrior himself. So playing a second copy of this can allow you to transform into the Planeswalker variant, even though your opponent doesn't want to kill the 2/1 cat. On top of that, Guide of Souls is such a huge combo with these cards as well, because you play this on turn 1, and then hopefully you have an Ajani or an Ocelot Pride, and this card gives you life when you play a creature as well as an energy. So if you play the Ocelot Pride, that means during the end step you are guaranteed a token on turn 2, and that means you're also going to be guaranteed 2 energy. So on turn 3, you're most likely going to be able to use this ability, and if you open up something like Ocelot Pride turn 2 with Ragavan, once you have your Guide of Souls, then that right there is 3 total energy. Likewise with Ajani, because this is going to give you 2, and it's going to give you 2 life. And this card and this card obviously work very, very well together, because not only does this card give you a cat for your Ajani, the tokens are also cats, but this card gives you 2 bodies to fulfill your City's Blessing to eventually be doubling those tokens, which is very, very insane. On top of that, we also have the best card in the entire deck, Amped Raptor. This card is literally format warping, and we're seeing that in Modern paper at this moment. You know, this really revitalized the energy toolbox or archetype, whatever you want to call it, because when you look at this card, it's basically a 2/1 first strike with Cascade that can potentially go above the cost of the card that you were playing, right? So if we start off with Guide of Souls and we trigger this first on the stack in response to our Amped Raptor, we can now get potentially a 3-drop, which means we have the ability to play every single card in our deck off of our Amped Raptor, which means it is a guarantee hit, right? On top of that, this card can also just generate you 3 bodies in 1 turn. So if you start with Guide of Souls turn 1 into turn 2 Amped Raptor, that could potentially get us an Ajani, which could then also get us a token, which means at that moment, we now have 3 energy generated from the 3 characters put on the field, which means turn 2, we can turn this guy into a 3/4 with flying, and that is insane on turn 2 of the game. In terms of interaction for the deck, we have a small energy package here of 3 Static Prison and 4 Galvanic Discharge. Now, this card is very, very strong because a lot of our cards just give us free energy, right? Like, Guide of Souls just gives us a bunch of energy, and if we don't have enough to utilize the effect to put 3 counters on something, then maybe we just play this, and then we can gain 2 energy, and their thing will come back. We don't really care about that because we're putting 3 total energy on the board with 1 mana, as long as, you know, we already had 1 energy. Galvanic Discharge is honestly insane. In some regards, can be just a better Lightning Bolt, right? Because we have so many ways to just generate free energy. And that also makes Ragavan another insane card in our deck. Making your Ragavan flying is very, very broken. I want you to know that. We also obviously have the 4 standard Lightning Bolt, and one of the other new cards, Unstable Amulet. This card is really, really strong. And I've actually thought about putting more copies of this card into the deck. So you get 2 energy on play, and then you can tap it to pay the 2 energy you're getting in order to exile the top card of your library. And you can play it not until the end of the turn, but until you exile another card with Unstable Amulet. Which means there's no risk of just using this immediately, right? When you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hands, this deals 1 damage to our opponent, which is very important in a deck that is trying to clock our opponent as fast as possible, because this card, Inti, Seneschal of the Sun, also works with Unstable Amulet, because when this attacks, we can discard a card to put a 1/1 on an attacking creature and give it trample until the end of the turn, and when we do so, we get to exile the top of our deck, and we can play that until the end of the turn. So if we already have an Inti on board, then we can play the card that we got off Inti, and it will deal 1 damage to our opponent via the Unstable Amulet, which is absolutely amazing. Likewise, with the Amped Raptor, this also casts from the top of your library or whatever you hit in your library, so that will deal 1 damage to our opponent too. This card, I think, is just a good staple in any red aggressive deck in the game. It's just the modularity that makes this card really, really strong. And as well, it's another good card to get off of our Amped Raptor, because I'm pretty sure you can actually choose both modes if you have enough energy, which is really, really cool. And then Flage is one of the other new cards from Modern Horizons 3. And if you look at a lot of modern lists, a lot of people play 3 or 4 copies of this card. And I understand why. But you have to understand as well, to put this into perspective, on Arena, we have access to Deathrite Shaman, whereas in Modern Paper, I'm pretty sure Deathrite Shaman is banned, and Deathrite Shaman being so prevalent in the Timeless meta means that you're not going to be able to escape with this as frequently as you would like, but I do still think it is a good utility option, and that's why I'm only playing 1 copy of this. But this also works with the Unstable Elemental, which is very, very nice. And with the amount of fetches that we have in this deck, you're very frequently going to be able to escape with this on turn 4 if you choose to do so. And then one of the final new cards we have here is Felia Exuberant Shepherd. This card is very, very interesting. So it has Flash, which means we can summon it on our opponent's turn, which is very, very nice. Also, just doing it at instant speed is good too, because if we have a Guide of Souls on field and our opponent tries to like bolt it or something, we can respond with this and at least guarantee we're getting an energy and a life back, which is very, very good. And this card is just good for getting through game states where you would have no other way to create good attackers, because there's a lot of incentives when we attack with this deck, right? Like, we have Inti, we have Guide of Souls to be able to get his trigger, we have Ragavan, and this card can allow you to push those through, right? Likewise, this card can also just reset certain broken cards, such as Unstable Amulet to give us even more energy, and if we happen to exile our Amped Raptor, we will return it to the battlefield and we will get a 1/1 counter on Felia, which then makes this a 3/3 for 2 with Flash, which is absolutely amazing. Now, in general, one of the really good things about the additions to Modern Horizons 3 is also that we get access to Prismatic Vista, which was not actually available to us on Arena until now. And that just allows us to have even more copies of fetches in order to use our Flage Titan of Fire's Fury. And it also allows us to have more room for utility lands, being the final new card from Modern Horizons 3, Arena of Glory. Now, this card is absolutely amazing. One of the best things that you can do with this is, let's say you have 2 mana and you activate this. Well, then we can drop out Ragavan for 1 mana, attack with him, get a treasure token, and we don't have to return this to our hand at the end of the turn, which is absolutely amazing. Or if you have like a Guide of Souls on the board and you do that, then you can just go Flying Monkey attack, which is really, really broken, to be completely honest. Or Inti, like, honestly, I would consider putting this up to 2. It is not a legendary land, and with the amount of shocks we have access to, and as well fetches, I think it's just a really, really strong card. And if we switched up the mana base a little bit and played like, you know, max shocks, I think you could for sure justify bumping this up to 2 copies, because it does come in super, super clutch. If you have any questions about the deck, make sure to let me know down below in the comments. And before we get into the games, I just want to preface that I'm not the best at building mana bases. The mana base that I'm using right now was kind of taken from a couple of different Modern lists I was looking into. And as I am a person who has taken several breaks in Magic's history, and other than playing in Innistrad back in the day, most of my experiences have either been drafting or playing on Arena since it first came out. So the mana base definitely could be changed. I'm not claiming to be an expert of that by any means. And also, I think this deck could be pretty beneficial in best of 3. I just enjoy best of 1 more, and I think this deck is really strong in best of 1. Because when you go first, sometimes you can just steal the game from your opponent, especially with all of the scam decks going around right now. I think this deck is positioned very, very well, because this deck can play with just 2 lands in an opening hand, and if they start off with a Grief and steal our Amped Raptor, well, we have a plentiful amount of 2-drops at our disposal, so a lot of our cards fit into the same role as each other, so our opponent looking at our hand and thought seizing us doesn't really matter as much as it does in some other decks. Like against the 4-color Beanstalk deck, I feel like doing double Grief turn 1 can be very, very bad for that deck. But overall, I think this deck is very strong, and we're about to showcase why. All right, hopping into game number 1 here, I just wanted to throw this out. If you guys want to see me make a best of 3 version of this deck with a side deck, I can definitely do that. Just let me know down below in the comments if you guys would be interested in hearing my thoughts and takes on that. But this is a very, very strong hand. We have turn 1 Guide of Souls into turn 2 with the Ocelot Pride, which is absolutely disgusting because we're going to get a massive amount of energy, and this is immediately turned online. Plus, we have 1 piece of interaction, so I think this hand is pretty dang solid here. Now, even if our opponent has a turn 1 Grief, we would still be in an amazing position. All right, I think I'm down to just start with this Prismatic Vista. Now let's go ahead and get our planes out. Drop down the Guide of Souls, which is very, very strong here. Double Guide of Souls is very broken. Okay, he has a Galvanic Discharge. That's completely fine. Looks like he's using Jingatha, the Wellspring. Okay. Could be playing the Wizard deck. Oh, no, he's also playing an Energy deck. He is playing a Siege. Haven't seen someone play a Siege in a while. Seems okay. Alright, well, I kind of want to answer that, but I think this is just too good of a sequence, right? Like, he's not going to be able to kill this immediately unless he wastes a removal, which I'm fine with that. So I think we just go ahead and crack off this Arid Mesa. And I think I want to get at least 1 shock online so we have access to red and white. We'll go ahead and pay the 2, which is a little bit dangerous in this matchup, but I think the first one is fine. Drop down our Guide of Souls, drop down the Ocelot Pride, wombo combo, we gain a life, then we gain another life and another energy, and just like that, we're in a great position to take control of this game. Ren's Resolve, exile the top 2 until the end of your next turn. You can play those, okay. Ooh, Ragavan, that's really nice. Hell yeah, that's really nice. So he can't play that, he doesn't have enough mana for that. With that being said, I definitely play this. And then I guess I can go tap this. We'll go get a second red source here, probably. I want to have at least one mountain, so if we draw the Arena of Glory, it doesn't come into play tapped. And now if I wanted to here, I could technically dash with this. I don't think it's as beneficial though, but I think I'm just going to Galvanic Discharge on his guy, build up some energy here. Pay the 1, get rid of him, and then I'll just drop down Ragavan. Could hold Ragavan for next turn and just dash, but I'm assuming he doesn't have an AoE. He's playing an aggro deck as well. And that's just going to be GG. Okay. Turns out Guide of Souls into double Ocelot Pride is very, very broken. You think another fetch might be slightly better? I mean, that's very possible. I mean, like I'm saying, I'm not very good at mana bases. I'm just still kind of learning like how to put together a good mana base because I haven't really played Constructed that much in general. Okay, well, game number 2. This seems like a pretty solid hand. We can go turn 1 Guide of Souls into Ocelot Pride plus Ragavan. Okay, I like this. Another Gigantha. Another Gigantha. Probably just play this first. I think it's respectable to also hold this and just put out Ragavan first. Deathrite Shaman, that's not cool. I think I want to answer that. Let's go get a white here. And then I'm going to drop down the Ocelot Pride. And then I'm going to drop down the Galvanic Discharge so we can start getting in here. Sweet. Alright, we're now at 4 energy. Or with 3 energy. Okay, that's pretty nice. Okay, turn 1 Brainstorm. That seems really weird, but okay. If he's going turn 1 Brainstorm, I think he's just cooked. Like, we're just going to do too much value here, right? And we're already getting pretty close to the City's Blessing. Okay, Swords to Plowshare, sure. Am I more interested in this or a Ragavan? I think I'm more interested in just doing this. Especially because I have 2. So now we're in a really good position because even if he doesn't remove this, if we draw another land next turn, we can go second Ajani, use the legendary rule to get rid of it, transform, and then play this if we draw a land to remove something. Oh, he's just gonna, like, pass his turn with an Uro? He better have a removal. I wonder if this guy's playing Beans. He might be on the Beanstalk deck. It's pretty popular right now. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I could just go a second one of these here. Probably be pretty hard for him to answer. I don't think I want to dash right now. I think I just want to build up a board. That's a lot of damage coming in. Well, he better have an AoE here. If he's playing the Beans deck, he doesn't have an AoE for sure. There's no AoEs in that deck at all. Omnath, okay. Well, you better have a fetch. Okay, he is a fetch. With a fetch, there is a way. Into a snow-covered plains, okay. Oko, sure. Creating a food token, interesting. I don't think you're going to survive long enough for that, man. Ooh, Amptraptor's pretty good. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I could just try to roll into this Amptraptor here. One of the main reasons why everyone's playing more fetches in Modern is because they play multiple copies of the Flage Titan of Fire's Fury, but they don't have Deathrite Shaman. So that's why I only play one copy of that. I think I need to answer that guy. City's blessing, baby. Let's go. Alright, well, you better have an AoE, buddy. And that's not going to be enough. Let's go. Hey, this deck is nice. And the games are very, very fast, which is cool. Oh, cool. I hit gold. Okay, so we have a turn 1 Ragavan, most likely, into an Amptraptor. This seems pretty good. One thing I like about this deck is it just feels hyper consistent. Let's start off with our fast land and then go into the Ragavan. 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 I just want to make monkeys fly, okay? This is why I like this deck. I like flying monkeys. Stitcher Supplier. I smell Dredge. I smell Dredge. Oh, he has Dark Ritual. He's playing a cheese deck. Okay, well, we have a couple of options here. Honestly, I think getting the treasure token off of the Ragavan is just really, really beneficial here. So I think I'm down to do this. I'm going to collect energy. Now, this is going to give us a 100% hit rate for our Amptraptor, which is very, very good. What did he hit? So he hasn't hit anything yet. Let's go ahead and get in for our 2. And then do we want an Amptraptor or do we want a Johnny? I think a Johnny might actually be a little bit better here. Because if we end up hitting a removal off of this, then it could be very, very bad. Okay, now if we use Amptraptor and we get another Ajani, we have a guaranteed transform, which is pretty good. Yeah, I think I like this line a lot better because it makes sure that our hits are more valuable. Ooh, he's just going to pass. Okay. So if I just attack, I'll have a 3rd land here. I think, am I more interested in using this Inti? I think I'm more interested in just doing the Amptraptor. I think it has a higher chance of popping off. Because if we get a Guide of Souls here, that'd be amazing. Even if we get another Ajani, that'd be really good. Because that's a lot of damage to be dealing face. Oh, we get a Guide of Souls. Hello, my friend. Oh, what do you know? I have just the right amount of energy to make a flying monkey. You love to see it. Go. To the skies, Ragavan. Let's go. Yes, the flying monkey dream has been accomplished. Ha 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 ha. This is what the people came here for, to see flying monkeys. Stitcher Supplier? Okay, you can have that back, buddy. Don't mind me. I'll just gain a life and trigger my Ocelot Pride. I'll just get another energy, you know, for fun. I like energy. Man, this card is so vile. Well, is there a 3-mana AoE that just cuckolds us here? I don't think there is. He could get back a bunch of guys, but even then, I have so many guys. He'd have to get back a lot of people. So you can cast something from his hand without paying mana. Okay, you mill 10 cards. What is this? He's got a prized amalgam. He gained back 3. Okay, yeah, so I think this is just GG, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, this is exact lethal if he has nothing, which I don't think he does. Go get our shock. All right, flying raptor time. Decline. And a bolt for game will do it. Let's go. That's how you do it, baby. Yeah, this deck is nice. It's crazy because I haven't played against a single person who's actually on the same deck as me. We went against one guy who used Amped Raptor, but he had a different deck. He was playing Sieges, which just seemed bad. We do have 2 Guide of Souls, which is really good. Because obviously, like, this is going to come in slow. But still playing 2 Guide of Souls is very, very strong. And if we draw another land, we do Guide of Souls into a second Guide of Souls, Ocelot Pride, or Guide of Souls into a Johnny. Since I'm on the play, I think I'm going to try it. We'll see how greedy you can be in this deck. Alright, don't answer my Guide of Souls. He's a good guy. Don't worry about it. Galvanic Discharge? Ragavan, okay. Ooh, okay. So we didn't get a land there. I guess I just Ocelot Pride here. So more than likely, he's not going to be able to kill 3 bodies to get his Ragavan through. And unless he kills this, I get a first strike. Okay, he's just doing nothing. Sweet. Ooh. Adolion of the Great Revel. I've seen a lot of people play this, and I just don't think it's that good. There's so many good answers to it. Play Inti, try to find a land, go in the air with our cat. Yeah, screw it, I'm a dirty high roller. Yeah, this seems fine. Pay the 3 energy. Put it on the Ocelot Pride. Discarding... maybe this. Ooh, baby. There we go. We're in it. We're in it to win it, baby. Let's go. Pay 2. Now, I could just play this to remove one of his guys, but I think this is just too much value. Sure. Yeah, that's too much energy. Yeah, unless your opponent has AoEs, it's really difficult to break up the board with this deck, because you just put so many guys in the field, and the lifelink just makes to where this card isn't very good in the format. He has to kill 4 guys here to actually get through with his Ragavan. I don't think it's happening, buddy. Okay, well, it's time for you to roll with your Amped Raptor. Let's see it. Into a Ragavan? Okay. Well, now you're at 11, so this card's kind of cucking you, man. I don't know why you're playing that. Easy. Well, that just goes to show you really only need 2 lands to play, and Guide of Souls is such a fucked up card that you can just pass on turn 2 and just play a 1-drop, and you're still Gucci. This deck has so many strong starts that I think this is actually a bad hand. It's kind of crazy to say, because it still seems fine. Okay, well, I guess I'm putting back a Galvanic Discharge and just going Guide of Souls into Amped Raptor, which gives us a guaranteed hit on whatever we end up getting off Amped Raptor. Ideally, we get like an Ocelot Pride or a Johnny. That'd be crazy. Another good thing about this deck is because you really only need 2 mana to play the game, you can very easily feel comfortable going down to 5 cards in the mulligan, although I'll say that doesn't come up very much because the deck's hyper consistent. Alright, give me a Johnny or an Ocelot Pride, baby. Into an Amped Raptor. I'm rolling this guy. I'm rolling. I like Damped Raptor. Okay, don't mind me. I will just turn 2, make a flying 3-4 in the air. I mean, that was pretty fair turn 2, right? Like, this is a fun and fair deck. JK, I don't know why I'm allowed to fucking do that. That was just broken. Okay, well, that's all you have to do. You just go Guided Souls into Amped Raptor, you just win. There's literally just no out for it in the game. I love this deck, man. This is a fun and fair deck. Let's go. All right, well, we don't have a turn 1 play in this hand. We're on the play. I think we just mull. Okay, well, this is an easy Ocelot Pride into a Johnny. I'm fine with that. It's not the greatest, but maybe we'll get in with this. Let's put back a Static Prison. Don't need 2 of those. Ocelot Pride coming in. Man, the lifelink in this deck is so pivotal to being able to just pay life as a resource and not really care, especially when you go first. Mishra's Bauble, okay. Man, starting with the tap land against this deck just feels really bad. Ooh, okay. That's a fast land. We love a good fast land this time of year. Well, let's go ahead and make 3 cats this turn. This isn't even one of the best starts you can have in the deck, and we have 4 game pieces on turn 2. Seems pretty good. Ooh, well, that's not that good. I think here, I'm open to just playing this and sacking it to see if we get something nutty. Alright. Papa needs a Guide of Souls here. Okay, that's not the greatest, but it'll work. I did stop myself from getting closer to the Ascension trigger, but I think it's fine. Seek 2 non-land cards, then put a card from your hand to the bottom. Okay, interesting. So you just get 2 random cards. Seek is an ability that's only available in Alchemy. That's why you don't really see it very often. Second Mishra's Bauble, okay. I'm interested to see what this guy can do, because we had a pretty unoptimal start. And somehow we're just rolling away with the game regardless. Technically, I'm representing 5 damage in hand. I think I'm going to bolt during the end step. We have so much damage on board, I think it's just respectable. And it's going to be very costly for him to pay with his fetch. Okay, well, we are breaking. If we win this game, then we are crazy, and the deck is just ludicrous. The only disadvantage to using that bolt there is if he has a flash creature, I can only do 2 damage here, but I think it was worth it enough. We had such a high chance to just top deck an impactful card that put lethal on him. Like, if we top decked a second bolt there, he would just be dead here, which is crazy. Alright, let's go in. A Johnny and his Pride have entered the building. Let's go. Technically, if I had a red card on board, I could lethal by killing my token with this, and then that would transform a Johnny. Am I open to just killing my token and then just transforming and buffing all cats? Maybe. How much damage would that have removed? So I removed 2, and then I would be gaining, I'd remove 3, gain 3. So it would have just went even. I mean, to be honest, if I just instant in on this, that means he can't play a shock, which might be pretty impactful. He can't fetch into shock if I do this. Okay. Fine by me, sir. You'll go to 2, so you can no longer shock. That's great. Interesting, he didn't get a shock for the instep. Okay, he's seeking. Can you kill us here? Can you kill us before we top deck 2 damage? Well, I guess he can try. Oh, no, he doesn't have it. Let's go. Well, that just goes to show this deck is so broken. If you go against a slow deck, and you just have nothing to do after the first 2 turns, Ocelot Pride plus a Johnny can sometimes just carry you. All right, so we have a Ragavan turn 1. We get to go first again. Nice. Into an Amp Draft or an Inti of our choosing. With a removal. Seems pretty nice. Let's go ahead and get a shock here. Raga. Van. Man, I love Ragavan. Love me a good Ragavan this time of year. Ooh, starting with the tap land. I see you, my guy. Looks like he's most likely... Yeah, I think he's probably playing a Scam deck, maybe? He could probably playing a Phoenix deck, I guess. Okay, what do we want to do here? We could Inti. Inti into Ocelot Pride. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. And then I'm just going to get a white here. Play Inti. Get in with Ragavan. Discarding Felia. Because I have a Static Prison. Ooh, into an Amp Raptor. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to play it. But that's okay. I can still treasure out my boy, the Ocelot Pride. I stole his Demonic Tutor. So he's playing some combo shit, I guess. If we draw a land next turn, it's just Static Prison into Amp Raptor. Even if we don't remove something, it's just a guaranteed. Create a treasure token. Okay, cool. Into a Brainstorm. Wow, that's a really bad start for him. I kind of feel bad. Overall, this deck's pretty damn strong. Okay, paying life. You love to see it. It's actually such an advantage for this deck when your opponent is using fetches, which is most of the arena meta. Oh, wow. He's going to use a fetch and a shock into a Faithless Looting. He better have Arclight Phoenix, I guess. 1 Arclight Phoenix. Okay. You're attacking with that? Dude, you're a madman. This guy's crazy, bro. Well, Ragavan gets us a treasure. I think I'd rather do this because it could give us access to something that increases our damage output beforehand. Bolt. I think I'm down to just bolt face here. Because our Ragavan is most likely going to cast Static Prison on his Arclight, which is crazy because we're going to hold it hostage. Let's go ahead and go in here. I think we just discard this. I think I'm down with that. I'll put the 1/1 counter on this because it gives us life. Ooh, into a Ragavan. That's tough. That's really tough. Oh, I stole his Arclight Phoenix. Exile it. Oh, wow. I just exiled his Arclight Phoenix. That was not fair. I feel kind of bad. But there is no mercy in the arena. I guess I don't really care about... Oh, wait, no. That is a legendary. I didn't realize that. Okay. I was about to say, I was like, I guess I don't really care about that. But yeah, I do. I took hold of his Arclight Phoenix, made it exiled. I'm going to exile the second one. Now he only has 2 Arclight Phoenix in the deck. And I'm representing lethal here. So that's really, really strong. I don't think there's anything turn 3 that this guy can do. GG, sir. GG, sir. As a farewell present, I shall give you a Rats from the Bay. Rats from the Bay. Don't mess around with the Rat King. Fuck around and find out what happens when you mess with the Rat King. And you're going to have to talk to his special friend, Ragavan. Alright, can you pay 1 more life to finish off the job, buddy? Awesome. Thank you, my friend. What an awesome way to end the final match of the video. Progress as promised. This deck has been an absolute powerhouse. I'm really excited to make changes going forward with this deck and potentially come out with a variant that could be used in best 2 out of 3. Thank you so much for getting this far in the video. If you have any questions or takes on the deck, make sure to let me know down below as well. And as always, if it's not the goo, it's got to go. Peace.
Is that indigo?